So we're rounding up conflicts between employers and employees. The first way to solve the conflict between them is individual approach, which means that employee will be able to speak to the representative of the company, which are simply the human resources, people from the human resources department. That is individual approach. The other approach is collective bargaining. For collective bargaining, it means this is really for those employees that don't have that skills to negotiate. So they are represented by mostly the trade union. So the trade union will represent them to speak with the representative of the company. That is what collective bargaining is. So collective bargaining simply means employees are represented by certain group to speak in terms of their wages, the work condition, and whatever comes around employment condition, to speak on behalf of the employee. So they represent the employee. Instead of the employee speaking, now the representative speak for the employee. That is collective bargaining. Do we get it? So let me read further anyway. Collective bargaining. This implies negotiating wage rates, working conditions, and other terms of employment of an employee with his or her representatives, which mostly is going to be the trade union. So why do we call them trade union, or what's a trade union? A trade union is a group of workers that have come together to protect the interests of workers. We call them trade union because they are a group of workers that have come together to protect the interests of the workers. That's why we call them trade union. Do we get trade union here? So because they are trade union, they have that power, they are pressure group. They have the power to influence government, not even the company's decision, even government's decision. That's how powerful they are. Do you get the point I'm making here? They are so powerful that they can influence government's decision. So if they can influence government decision, not to talk more of companies. Government is bigger than company, yes or no? So if they can influence government decision, that means they will do well with even companies representing their employees or their members. But before they can represent you, you would simply have joined the team or the group. So that they don't represent those that are not within their group. They represent their members. So you have to be a member of a trade union to be represented by a trade union. Do we understand that point? And for you to be a member, you have to pay certain subscription fee to become a member. So that is in trade union. Maybe when we get to trade union, we'll talk more about trade union. I think you understand what trade union is now. Just a group that's more of a pressure group that represents the interests of their workers or their members. I think it's clear, please. Stop the video. Here, that for collective bargaining to occur, it would have meant that employees have chosen who they wanted to choose as their representatives, and employers have accepted the representatives, right? So that means everything is transparent. Do you understand the point? So because it's collective bargaining, we both understand that it is legal. We all accept it and it is transparent. We can all see things how it's going. That's transparency. Do we understand? No one is under any influence to make decisions. The employers are not influencing us to choose certain representative, and the employers have accepted the representative we choose, or we have chosen. Do we get the point? That's an advantage. The second one, it will be more cost effective if the decision might be done once. Because it's collective bargaining, it means the trade union is representing most of us, not just an individual. So it means we can as well have the negotiation once, because the trade union will represent everyone within the company or within the industry. Do you understand the point? Unlike if you have to go to your employer yourself, everyone has to go individually. It's going to take much time. So the negotiation can be done once. Do you understand the advantage there? It saves time, yes or no? The third one, employees' representatives are democratically elected. As soon as you become part of the trade union, we have who we call the ESCOs. ESCOs, the executives. They are being elected into the position. They are the ones that will represent you. So that means if they are being chosen, if they are being elected in that position, it means they are capable. They have the ability, they have the capacity to do it. That's why they are being elected. So they do not represent just you, they represent the whole body. Do you understand? And that's the last one. Then what are the problems about using collective bargaining? The first one, negotiation might take too long, bureaucracy. Because it's collective bargaining, it might take a longer period of time. It's not the same as the first one here. Here, we're talking about you being represented, like countless of numbers of people represented by one individual, one group of organization or association. It saves time. But the negotiation might take too long. Because it's about listing items that we want. Taking this, taking that. It's difficult to just finish in a day. It might take too long because of bureaucracy. Do you understand the first problem? The second problem, the view of individuals might not be represented by the trade union. Because the trade union is representing more than countless of people, it might not be able to represent each individual views. They will just find what puts us together and talk about it. Unlike if it is individual approach, which I have to speak directly to my employer. But here, the trade union is representing every one of us. And they cannot as well speak for each of us. They have to speak collectively. And speaking collectively might not represent my view. So they only find out the correlation between us and talk about it. Do you understand the point there? So that's a problem because it might not represent what I really wanted. It is not about me, it's about us. Is it clear? The next one, the failure to agree might have a negative consequence. I said earlier, it might lead to industrial action. If they are unable to agree on terms and conditions, then there might be industrial action, which is not good for the economy. Do we get it? Another problem I did not talk about is that most of the time, businesses might not want to employ workers that are part of trade union. So some workers might not even get a job because they are members of trade union. It's possible. Do we get that, please? And the last one here, employers or owners, they might feel that their freedom is being hampered, is being tampered with. They cannot decide whatever they want. It's their company. Why would the trade union tell them what to pay? Why would the trade union say this, say that? So they might feel that the freedom to manage their company is being compromised. Do we understand? Any question about collective bargaining? So that ends chapter 14. Thank you.